Hello and welcome to Ivy Creates. I'm glad you're here with me today. We're going to be doing a little portrait of one of my bestest buddies. She's someone I know very, very well. She belongs to my best friend, but I would definitely say I'm probably her favorite human. This is Mighty Mouse, and we just affectionately call her Mouse. She is roughly 4 pounds, if that. She is what we believe to be a Pomeranian Yorkie mix, maybe. And she, is a sweet, tiny, itty-bitty little thing. So I'm doing a little portrait of her, and she is my best bud. As you can see, I used the black and white photo over the graphite paper just to get my proportions correct, and then I went back over it and drew what I needed to see with my white charcoal pencil. And now I'm just doing color blocking, laying in some basic color, and what I'm using is a white with some burnt umber and just a little tiny hint of pink in it. And that's what I'm putting down as my base color for her fur. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends and all the other good things. I hope you'll really enjoy this one. This is the kind of portrait I like doing most. I like it when I know the animal, because I love animals, and it helps me if I can put their personality into the portrait. So I'm going in right now and adding some of the darker colors around her dark eyes and her nose and her mouth. And that is for many reasons. I'll go back and forth several times. Like I'll do her fur, then I'll do her eyes, then I'll do her fur, then I'll do her nose. And it's mainly to keep my place on proportions and everything, and also to add the colors as I need them. And I'm layering. So I start off with a fairly thin layer of color and work up from there. So Miss Mouse, as we call her, she is very prissy and very cute and very small, of course. And so I'm adding just some extra colors to the outside of her surroundings on the painting, on the portrait. And I do tend to use a lot more of my paint in this one than I do in normal paintings, where I use a lot of my acrylic pens and my alcohol ink pens. So I'm just adding more background in to make her look like she's sitting on the ground. In this photo, she's actually putting her little paws on my knee. So yes, she's got so many photos in my phone. In fact, she has her own category. So it's just my phone automatically arranges things by what you take most pictures of. And, there's like my granddaughter in the category, and then there's like Mouse, my best friend's dog. Not even my dogs. So now I'm going back in and I'm adding a cream color on my small paint brush. And I'm using a thin little paintbrush, not a very thick one, with a slight angle on it. And I'm just adding, again, color blocking is what I'm doing. I'm not adding specific details at this point. I'm just adding the colors. So this was like a creamy white color that I wanted to add in to highlight. And I'll go back in again and start adding some more colors, and more details. And so I've got this peachy Faber-Castell alcohol ink pen, and I'm just going around her face because she is a white dog. She does tend to get the yellows and the peach around her eyes where her tears hit her little cheeks, and so she does get that a lot more often, and it doesn't always stay as clean as you would like, but it's a white dog, and that's what happens with white dogs. She goes out, and behind her house is a field with a big horse in it named Brody. And Brody loves to come up to the fence and get apples and things like that. And you would think that this little tiny itty bitty dog is 10 feet tall. She barks and raises Cain at Brody. And if you pick her up and try to show her face to face with Brody, she turns her head like, oh no, I didn't mean that. It's really, really quite cute. So again, I'm just adding more and more individual details as far as fur goes. I'm doing the longer strokes because she has the longer hair in this picture. She does tend to get shaggy from time to time, and she goes in and gets a haircut, and then she gets cut like a little puppy, and she looks like a teddy bear because she's so fluffy. But I will go in now and add some more of the gray around her eyes and her nose and her mouth. And this is to give it more depth. And I'll also go in, and even though her eyes are practically black, on almost every painting that I do with a dog that has really dark eyes, I'll go in and add just a tiny little touch of copper opposite of the highlight. So the highlight on an eye is where your light hits your eye normally, and it's usually a white spot, and that gives it, that look of realism. Well, opposite of that, there's usually a tiny little highlight, so I'll add a little bit of copper there just to give it that glow to their eye and make it look more round. So because I do know Mouse so well and I know her personality, I want to make her into a little fairy. So I have drawn a hat onto her head, and I'm using a medium pink, and I'll go back over it with a light pink to give it more of a rounded look. So what I'll do is I'll add the light pink along the brim and along the center part of her hat. And then I go back in with some darker peach and stuff for under the brim of the hat. And all I did was, in case you ever wonder where the ideas come from, they don't always come from your head. You have to kind of look and find inspiration everywhere. So I tend to look up on my phone ideas that I might have. I'll say it into my phone and say, hey, I want to see this. Is there this? And I'll look up pictures, and I'll get my inspirations from pictures basically off of my phone. And in this case, that's exactly what I did. Dogs with hats. I want to see dogs with hats. I want to see dogs with Victorian hats, which is, my favorite time period. So I'll look up those kinds of things and take inspiration from them. You don't want to copy them exactly, of course, but if you're ever stuck somewhere and you're trying to figure out what kind of hat do I want, or what do I want to put on this animal, or what would make them special and different according to their personality, just look it up, Google it, whatever, and find you some really good ideas on things you would like to make. So like I said, Miss Mouse is very, very prissy, and you can see me going back with the lighter pink now, and even taking some of that darker pink and adding it under the brim. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing with Miss Mouse is I do go back with my white Faber-Castell pens and add a little bit more detail to her fur, so it's got some thin little strips of fur. And as you can see, I'm looking up on my phone for hats, and I found one that I really liked, so I started making something that looks similar. In this case, it was sunflowers on a hat. I wanted to have sunflowers, and so I found some, and I'm going to use this bright school bus yellow, and I'm also going to be using a brown and an orange. So the brown is going to be the center part. It's the brown, and then it's the black that has the little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of gold in it. And my school bus yellow for the leaves, and then the orange is just a bright orange. You can use whatever color orange you feel comfortable with, and that's going to be for the sunflower. And so I know it's going to be a little difficult to see in this video, but I'm just making the leaves on it. You'll see it better as I move to the orange colors that are in the sunflower. And I'm just going over the brown just a little bit with my petals, so it kind of looks like the inside of the flower is sunken down. And then again, I dry it in between coats with my heat gun. You don't have to use a heat gun. I just do because I happen to have it right here. You can use a blow dryer, you can use whatever you want, but I just like it to dry more quickly and to be a little bit more stable before I do something else to it. I'm going back and referencing my inspiration picture when I'm looking at that, and now I'm adding the orange, and you can really see the petals start to come out. I also go in with a antique gold, which is one of my favorite colors to use to add to other paints. It is, let me tell you what it is. Hold on. It is a folk art, and this one says enamel, but you don't have to have enamel. And it is the enamel acrylic paint, and it's an antique gold, or even a rose gold would work. And I like to add it to a lot of my different paints and stuff because it just adds that little something extra. I also do some other things. I like to add those little things that you don't realize that are happening, like maybe putting some copper pieces in the eye, just a little bit of bright copper or a little bit of gold. And in this case, I'm adding glitter to her hat and her wings that I'm going to be putting on her. And I've got big chunky glitter. It's going to be hard to see on the camera, but I mean, let's face it, I don't have a fancy camera. It's just a regular old camera that I'm using, webcam. So anyways, I like to put those extra elements. Sometimes I'll even hide a glow-in-the-dark paint into my paintings just for fun, to see if anybody notices. And those are kind of the fun things I like to add as the, artist in me. I can add whatever I want to. And so I add those things. Let me know how you feel about having something that has a little something extra. Whether it be glitter or copper or gold or something different that's added to the painting that you might not notice at first until you're really looking at it. And that is the goal, is, once you're really looking at it closely, then you notice all the little details that it has, and it keeps you guessing. So you can see now I'm using the gold going back into my sunflower and adding it to that. But let me know in the comments below, how you feel about glitter on your painting. Would you freak out about that? Or would you like it? Or does it matter? Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It is a wonderful thing. It allows me to do my pet portraits and to do a few little extras on the side for people that might just be deserving of them. Now you can see that I'm adding the whites and the pinks to the wings that I've just painted, and that's just highlighting the wings a little bit. And then I go back in and add this really chunky glitter. Please share this video if you've liked it. Please, share it, like, subscribe, notifications, all that stuff. All the stuff. At the end of this, do stay tuned till the end, because I do have some other pictures of my mouse, the real mouse, not my painted version, so I will share those with you. And thank you again for watching.